Hey everyone, it's Daniel here from etfs. Hope you're all doing well. Let's talk about Bank of Canada. So we got Bank of Canada, they came out, they kept rates as is. A lot of people were speculating that, the Bank of Canada is going to cut rates, April, and we're going to, start the rate cutting cycle. So, go ahead and start buying all your real estate, etc., etc. However, that was not the case. Bank of Canada did not cut rates. They kept it at where it is right now. So they're pausing. They're still on a pause. And during their press conference, they came out with a hawkish tone. So I'll link the article for you to read up on Bank of Canada, but there's an article here from Bloomberg that basically says Bank of Canada says inflation must be wrestled all the way to 2%. Now, Bank of Canada has a inflation band which ranges from 1% to 3%. However, with the pause that Bank of Canada is doing, they did not rule out that they can't raise rates and continue to raise rates. And with the band that they have, they did sound hawkish because they want to not just get to 3%, right, and call it a win and call it a victory. They want to get to the middle ground around 2%, which then gives the room and flexibility for inflation to basically play in this band, right? So even if you hit to 3%, great job, but the job is not done. And as Bank of Canada is saying that, hey, they need to continue to keep things tight to bring inflation down. So no, rate cuts are not coming this month, and they did not come this month. And rate cuts are also not going to come next month or the month after in the summer. And everyone who's saying that rate cuts are coming, I think, are wrong. However, where they can be right is if this banking crisis that we're seeing seeps into the Canadian economy and really exacerbates, then yes, you're right, the Bank of Canada will step in. But if not, inflation's still elevated, they need to get to their 2% target, and nothing has been broken yet, then please, don't say they're going to cut rates in the next month or two. There's no way at the current inflation levels, there's no way you're going to get inflation down to the 2% target by cutting rates. It's actually going to exacerbate and make the problem even worse. So the only way that Bank of Canada is going to cut rates is if there is a hard landing and something really breaks in the economy. Thus, why they're pausing, assessing the situation, seeing what's happening, seeing what America's doing, seeing what the other central banks around the world globally are doing, and then decide and continue to watch the data, continue to watch the banking crisis unfold, and then decide, do they need to cut or do they need to continue hiking because this inflation is not getting under control? Yes, it has come down. Yes, we see that inflation has peaked. But don't think that, it is done. And don't think that, again, the central bank has a mandate, they have a job, and they're not going to start cutting just like everyone is thinking and having this wishful thinking about cutting rates. If they start cutting rates, that would basically mean there's something really disturbing happening in the economy. So let's get into this article here. It basically says the head of the Bank of Canada told global policymakers that getting inflation back within its control range isn't enough. Like I said, that control range of 1 to 3% isn't enough, reinforcing that interest rates may stay higher for longer. So everyone who's predicting rates to come down, yes, you may be right, but then you're basically predicting that the recession and a hard landing is coming. If that's not in your base case of a recession and you think everything's going to be fine with growth and whatnot, then guess what? The rates are going to be higher for longer until that inflation gets to 2%. And the way to get to 2% and to have this disinflationary process to really play its course is you need that hard landing. So if no hard landing and growth is fine and everything's fine, then guess what? Yeah, rates are going to be elevated higher for longer. And if inflation picks back up, they're going to hike rates again. Just like the Bank of Canada said, higher for longer, again, until something breaks. So speaking at the IMF, International Monetary Fund in Washington, a day after holding rates steady for a second straight meeting, Governor Tiff Macklem stressed the primacy of central banks' 2% target. So yes, they have a range of 1 to 3, but he was stressing on 2%, 2%, 2%. Yeah, if we hit the 3%, or we hit 2.9%, or we hit 2.75, we still want to get to 2%. So he then says, he said bringing annual consumer price gains into the top of the 1 to 3% control range, which forecast to happen in the coming months, will be a relief, but not a victory, right? So he said, okay, great. If you get to the top of that 1 to 3% range, it's not a victory still in his cards. It will be a relief, but they still need to keep things tight. And what do you do to keep things tight? To bring inflation down to that 2% level. You continue with the tightening. You keep rates higher for longer. Higher for longer, meaning that, hey, no, an April rate cut or a summer rate cut is not here unless something does break, right? So if nothing's breaking, higher for longer. You live with higher for longer. QT tightening's happening. Higher for longer, tightening for longer to bring 2% down. Now, the idea for doing that, the objective is to basically bring increase unemployment, to create pain, to create demand pain, contract demand to eventually bring inflation down. That's why they're doing what they're doing. Now, it does say the band it's not a zone of indifference. You need to aim for the middle of the band if you want to be in the band most of the time. So again, reiterating that you gotta aim for the middle if you want to be in between in that range, in that band. So Macklem also told the IMF's acting director for Western Hemisphere on Thursday, we need to get inflation recentered on 2%. So the normal variation of inflation is between 1 to 3. So just like I said, so you can read through this. Leave the link in the description for you to read up on this. But basically, like I've been saying, right, on this channel, rates tightening is going to be higher for longer. It's going to stay there. Rate cuts are not coming soon unless there is a hard landing or a crash. There's something in the economy that truly breaks that needs the attention of the central bank to ease policy. Or the other scenario is they start cutting because they do see a need to ease policy because they know something that we don't, that, hey, a hard landing is right around the corner. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment below, subscribe, hit the like button and bell icon to be notified on the next video, and I'll see you guys around. Cheers, bye.